Hello, everyone, and welcome to my first Sunday, my first Sunday this year. I am JT, aka the Master, and as you see behind me on the background, for no reason, fantasy football. I'm a happy man. I'm a happy man. Tense moments over the last 3 days. And I was satisfied because I only wanted 2 presents from the draft. I only wanted 2 presents from my team from the draft. And AB, if you don't know who AB is, Andrew Berry, read my thoughts and gifted me Quinshawn Johnson and crazy Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round and Quinshawn Johnson in the 3rd.
Crazy.
Oh my God. Talking about a steal. Andrew Berry, you know what? I know I'm going to do. I told you, I promised I'm going to do a mock draft. I'm going to do a mock draft, but I got to get this off my chest. I got to get this off my chest.
Yeah, take it off.
A! It's an A! The Cleveland Browns pulled off an A in the draft. They addressed, the only thing they didn't address was a wide receiver. But they got 2 solid running backs in Dylan Sampson. Oh, man, that's a steal. Dylan Sampson led the SEC in rushing. Yes, Dylan Sampson led the SEC in rushing from the University of Tennessee. If you don't know running backs, come here. Dylan Sampson. Oh, my God. And who else is on the team? Quinshawn Johnson. Quinshawn Jenkins. Judkins, I'm sorry. From the NCAA championship team, Ohio State. Come on, man. This is what I said on Mr. FSP's show, and I'm going to get to Mr. FSP in a minute, but I welcome him to the show. I told him I wanted 2 presents from the draft. One being Quinshawn Johnson, Judkins, I can't get that name right, and Shamir Sanders. And lo and behold, you think I should be a GM? I should be a GM. Oh my God. I foresaw I'm so excited. I foresaw the future in my team, and they fulfilled what I foresaw. Oh my God. This team is not far off, and I know they had a horrible season. Went through multiple trials and tribulations last year. Okay, I understand that. But they're a lot better than most people think. They have a dynamite defense, and I said they needed to shore up their offense. Well, they sure damn did. They sure damn did. With 2 running backs, which I love, and a quarterback that both of us, me and this guy over here, was raving about that he should have been number 1 number 1 quarterback. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't talk.
We see.
I'm telling you, people, this is crazy. How the hell? We were talking about this yesterday before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell did Shamir Sanders, who by all experts, and you know how I feel about experts, but these guys were saying, sometimes Mel Kiper said he's the number 1 on his board, number 1 quarterback, and let me put it this way, I got to give kudos to Mel Kiper because he was pissed off.
Yes, he was.
He was.
Yes, he was.
He was calling out the NFL. He was pissed off. He said, "How the hell can you do this? Don't know." In 50 years, the NFL doesn't know. I'm going to say it right now. Doesn't know shit about football, especially quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks don't know shit about quarterbacks. and let this kid fall to the 5th round? Let this kid fall to the 5th round? Come on, man. Really? And he also put out a statistic of how successful 5th round quarterbacks are, and it ain't good. It ain't good. But this may be exception because this has never ever happened. And I'm not exaggerating, people. Never ever happened that a quarterback that was rated 1 or 2, at least in the top 20, 25, drops to the 5th round. Never happened. Never ever happened. So this kid it's game time. That's right. It's game time. Shadora's got to prove him wrong. He's got a hell of a mountain to climb, but I think that's what they wanted. Supposedly,
I agree.
That's what they wanted. Okay, you such a hot commodity. Prove it. And now he's got to go over the 3rd round draft pick in Dylan Gabriel. Come on, man. Dylan Gabriel. Come on. Kenny Pickett. Come on, man. And Joe Flacco. Okay. At best, this is my prediction. At best, Sanders is going to be the backup to Joe Flacco. At best, that's what I see. And Joe Flacco is just a cerebral quarterback. He don't mind teaching the young quarterback the ropes. Look at him and Lamar Jackson. Okay. Yep. Joe Flacco wasn't the type of guy that was going to put up a stink, trade me, because I got replaced by Lamar Jackson. He took Lamar Jackson under his wing. Joe Flacco knows what the real deal is. About being a real teammate. You got the best. You got the better talent. Hey, man, I'll teach you everything that I know for the betterment of the team. That's what Joe Flacco is. Okay. Kenny Pickett, as soon as Kenny Pickett got replaced, he wanted to trade out. He wanted to get out.
This is true.
Okay. Look, I keep it 100%. Kenny Pickett, when he first got drafted, I didn't like him. He loved to throw with his gloves because he had small hands and he wasn't that good at all. He wasn't that good. I know he played in Pitt. Okay. He was a popular East Coast type of quarterback. Okay. But he wasn't all that good and it proved out. He's been on his 3rd team since he's been in the league. 3rd team.
True.
Okay. So what's that tell you? He was a career backup when he got drafted, in my opinion. But they tried to force him into the starting role, and he failed miserably.
I knew he was going to say that.
Miserably. Come on. I'm so excited. I'm glad this kid finally got in a position, especially with my team, especially with Kevin Stefanski, because I think Kevin Stefanski is one hell of a coach, 2-time coach of the year, and he's very good at coaching quarterbacks into his system. And like I said, Joe Flacco, this Cleveland Brown team on offense, and Kevin Stefanski's offense, thrive on play action. Need a solid running game with two young running backs in Jenkins and Sampson, and they got Jerome Ford. Now Jerome Ford can concentrate on special teams because they got 2 backs that they can go that they thunder and lightning. Okay, 2 backs that could be thunder and lightning.
Okay,
and I'm telling you, people, these are 2 sleepers. 2 sleepers. Before I get to the draft, these are 2 sleepers. These 2 running backs are sleepers. Just think about this. And I'm not saying they're going to be, but it's going to be a very close comparison to what they did in Detroit. With Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. What they did, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it's going to be very close. These guys are going to be able to complement each other. And that's what they need in this offense. And then with Joe Flacco or one of these other young quarterbacks being in play action. Okay, Mr. FSP, I went on and on for 15 minutes almost.
You sure did. You sure did. I didn't say anything. I'm just on my phone.
I
But go
appreciate it.
ahead.
I appreciate it for 15 minutes because I'm so excited about what has happened belatedly on my team.
I-
And you think I jumped the teams willy nilly? I don't jump the teams willy nilly. Okay. And some people think that. Well, obviously,
Some people.
obviously, and
Hmm.
I think I'm a pretty good person that can foresee the future. Okay, I think I'm pretty good at foreseeing the future. The future
Okay.
of my former team, the New York Jets, is still there. They're still a dysfunctional team. So I wasn't remiss in taking him and leaving him, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to the Houston Texans were not that good.
Okay.
At a brief time, they came about with Deshaun Watson, number 4, before all the dysfunction took place. And they weren't that good. Hence, they got C.J. Stroud. But before that, I left and went to Cleveland. Okay.
Okay.
Knowing that Cleveland was not a good team. Knowing I didn't like the quarterback until the quarterback from the Texans went to Cleveland. Now I tell you this, people. People make mistakes all the time.
Are you admitting? Are you admitting?
Let me-
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Oh, let me talk. People make mistakes all the time.
This guy.
Okay, all the time. Like Mr. FSP about Baker Mayfield. Like Mr. FSP about Kyler Murray. But
See,
I,
you lucky this is your show.
but
You lucky this is your show.
But I digress. I made a mistake about Deshaun Watson.
And many other things.
I let the play of the past blind me for what took place over the last few years. I made a mistake. Deshaun Watson ain't that dude anymore, and probably will never ever be. Even though he said he's going to make a comeback. Okay, come back to what? Come back to what? Okay, right now, the NFL, if they ever take him on a team, and I'll stress that, I'll say it again, if they ever take him on a team, he's a backup. He's a backup. It's very hard for a quarterback that started, had some adversity, regardless of what it was, and is able to reach, and then it's viewed as a backup or a bust, and I'll say it again, a bust, come back and redeem his starting role somewhere. It's few and far between. Joe Flacco, Sam Darnold are exceptions to the rule. They are exceptions to the rule. Okay? Very few backup quarterbacks that are labeled like that come back into starting roles. Okay? I don't think Deshaun Watson is ever going to be a starting quarterback on a consistent basis. Maybe 1 or 2 starts because Lamar may get hurt, but I don't think he's going to make that. He's been away too long. Too many things have happened. His skill set, in my opinion, has diminished. Okay? But let's get past that. Joe Flacco is the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
This guy.
And we have 4 quarterbacks total to sort out, to fight out, to see who's going to be number 2
5,
Three,
but I got it.
2, 3. I'm discounting Deshaun Watson. Now,
I know. I
okay,
know. I know.
okay. I'm gonna let you people know I'm discounting short, and I'm going on for about 20 minutes, but that's okay.
It's your show.
It's my show, exactly. And we'll get to the mock draft, which is going to be a little surprising to people. That's all right. It ain't got Chris McCaffrey in it. That's damn sure. 12 players. All right, let's get to the crux of the
I,
show.
I thought you was gonna let me talk about it. You kicked it to me, but then you took it back. So I guess I'll just sit here.
Wait a minute. Just look.
No, because you were talking about the draft and you kicked it to me
Let me
for the draft. Then you took it back, and now you're going
what,
to the mock draft. So I don't know where we're going. I don't
Let,
know where we're going.
let's get to the crux of the show. I want to give, and if you had listened, I was going to go and kick it to you for you to give me whatever. And you know what? I'm going to give you as much time as you think you need, because I'm that type of guy, and I'm not going to interrupt you. And I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm going to let you speak until you tell me I'm done. Let's go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. FSP has been relatively patient in letting me go from the time this show started until up until now. So the least I can do, because I'm
The
not
least.
the least
The
I can
least.
do, the least I can do is give Mr. FSP his time to be able to talk without any interruption. Mr. FSP, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm gonna say this. I'll be somewhat brief, but not as brief as I intended to be. Um, First of all, I don't like your kid Barry. I did not like the way he handled the press conference. I did not like the fact that Cleveland, not just Cleveland, let me be clear, but Cleveland is being disingenuous. If it were the Giants uh, personnel who made the comments about Shador and leaked it to the media, okay, they do leaks all the time, but that's disrespectful. Uh, if you've seen I know Shador and Shiloh have like a streaming platform, and on there they're discussing how the prank caller got his number. And Shiloh says maybe it was one of the kids. I mean, Shiloh says it had to be the NFL, but Shador says it could be anybody's kid or whatever the case may be. Well, it came out or speculated that the Giants general manager's daughter attends Ole Miss, and the prank call emitted from an Ole Miss frat house. Disingenuous in the fact that the Giants are also the ones to be said to have disparaged Shador because he wasn't prepared for a meeting. The disrespect of trading back in after, you know, whatever was said behind closed doors. Uh, they went out and get Jackson Dart. Now, if you looked at Gruden's Confidential, John Gruden, he literally rips Jackson Dart apart and says, "You need to be fixed. You are not this good. You can't take these hits." And Jackson Dart tries to explain why he takes those hits as a quarterback and has been injured so much. Back to the Browns. You took Gabriel, Daniel Gabriel, over Shador Sanders 2 rounds ahead of Shador. And Mr. Berry goes on the diocese during the press conference and says, "Well, we're not going to give him anything. He's going to have to earn it. We want to make sure that." Though the way he said it is not what you say, it's how you say it, right? Was to say, okay, look, You ain't entitled to jack. And I get it. I absolutely get that. But what I don't get and don't like is his um I guess he has a certain delivery and a certain view in a certain way. But don't sit here and pretend like you wanted to get Shador, right? Because if you wanted to get Shador, you would have got him before you got Dylan Gabriel. Right now, as it stands, Shador, and I'm glad you're excited, Jerry. I'm excited too. But he's the fifth man on that list right now. And the question was asked of Kevin Stefanski. And it was funny how Stefanski answered the question. The reporter asked, how are you planning to give each one of these quarterbacks some meaningful playing time or whatever to evaluate them? And he said, it's not giving a quarter, a quarter, a quarter, but it's five quarterbacks. So it ain't a quarter. But that gives credence to Deshaun is out of the picture, right? Flacco was brought back because they had a good feeling with him 2 years ago, but didn't re-sign him because they didn't want to mess up the locker room with Deshaun. Well, that's out the window now. So he's the starter. They trade for Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has a rookie contract, which makes him very valuable. I don't got to pay him a lot of money. And if he pans out, I can extend him for a fifth year. Can't do that with anybody else. That leaves Dylan and Shador. Now, through my experience and what I've watched over the years, those quarterbacks don't get a lot of playing time. It's only two preseason games. It's only two preseason games. So it's going to have to be internal as they decide. But the one thing you'll never, ever be able to hide is what the players think of the quarterback play and who's getting a fair shake or not. Now, they might not say it outright because, they still have jobs and they're with the organizations. But Mel Kiper, I'm glad you brought up Mel Kiper because I wanted to talk about that too. I've never seen Mel Kiper so animated except when it was with that general manager that got fired. But even then, Mel Kiper calmed down and relaxed.
Right.
He was heated for a couple segments
Oh yeah.
as Shadur kept falling. I don't particularly think that Cleveland is going to give him a fair shot because I don't like Barry. I don't. He's made some deals and he's made some moves that made me think he's shysty. If you look at the video from Shador's feed, after he talks to Barry, after he talks to the administrator at Cleveland, Dion wants to talk to Barry. Now I know Dion ain't going to curse him upside down and all that, and he probably thanked him a little bit. But I'm as a father, not as prime time, but as a father. After you told me X, Y, Z, and I believed you, black man to black man, you showed me your colors, and I get it. You got a job to do. And I don't know what Dion said to Barry. I don't really care, but Barry is probably not going to be there very long. Haslam has already said, not Haslam. I forgot the name of the owner. I know it begins with an H, but
Haslam.
oh, it is Haslam.
Yeah.
Okay, Haslam has put out a lot of money because Barry decided I don't want to deal with Baker no more. So I'm gonna just throw all this guaranteed money to Watson. Quarter billion, $250 million gone, thanks to Barry and not being able to work with Baker. I think Baker's done pretty daggone well since leaving Cleveland. And he was doing okay in Cleveland, but he was playing injured to appease that organization. I'm not going to make excuses for him, but Baker is doing a hell of a lot better now than he was in Cleveland. Um, and I hate to say that this man is not doing the right thing, but I think he's playing a game that is not conducive to uh, building a very strong organization with all these expiring contracts coming next year, and didn't draft to cover all those issues. You got Newsom gone, and Newsom was a pretty damn good cornerback. You got a couple linebackers gone. Defense is going to be depleted. Last thing I'm going to say about this, and then I'll let you move on, and I apologize for taking up the time, but I honestly think Tom Brady didn't feel the same way about Shador that Shador felt about Tom Brady.
Okay.
I,
That's
I,
that's
I really
justified.
don't,
That's justified. That's justified.
because if he did, now I get it. I get it. Who did the Raiders get a quarterback? Did they even draft one? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that is an issue because you don't want to scare Geno, Geno's a grown ass man. Pete loves Geno. I got it. But Tom, you're the president of operations and part owner of the organization. Minor owner, but still part owner. And you know this kid. So what does that say?
Geno ain't scared. Geno's got a lot of confidence. And I hate
Well,
to
I'm
interrupt.
not saying I'm
Ge-
not saying Geno is the issue. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying the owner, general manager, president of operations, you had many opportunities to get this guy. Pair him with Gentry or Genty. Oh my gosh, that's your future after Geno. But again, it is what it is. Um, I want to say this lastly, and I'll move on. Every Colorado player suffered until Shador got drafted. Look at where they all got drafted or free agent wise after Shador, outside of Travis. Joe Horn Jr. or Jimmy Horn Jr., that kid shouldn't have been drafted so late, but he went to the Panthers,
Mm-hmm.
right?
They got to stay
You
on.
got exactly that's my point.
Yep.
That's my point,
Yep.
right? Langham, Langham goes to the Ravens. He has a little work to do, but still, the offensive weapons and some of the defensive weapons, all of them went after Shador. NFL was making a point to prime. That's what Mel Kiper was saying. That's what people on NFL Network were saying. And Riddick, I forgot Riddick's first name, but he was saying it. He was saying the same thing,
You talking about
but
Lewis Riddick?
yeah, yeah, Lewis Riddick.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of saying the same thing, but just not as demonstratively as Mel Kiper and others. And all these jackasses that were like, well, shut up and prove it now. And I'm talking about my guy that's on NFL Network, that McCoy, Gerald McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
I get what you're saying, Gerald, but the way
Yep. Yep.
it came out like you telling him to shut up and dribble,
Yeah.
as opposed to motivating him. Hey, man, it's over with. Go prove him wrong. I didn't like the way McCoy was talking.
Mm-hmm.
Now he knows how his thing, how his part was delivered, or what he meant by it. But to me, I took it as him telling him to shut up. Don't cry. He told him, don't go on social media. Don't do nothing. I bet not see no cameras. Guy, Do you not understand?
What happened?
Everybody else is going to be around. Because watch, if they're not on Hard Knocks, which is going to be compelling TV if Cleveland is on Hard Knocks, there's going to be a story every day about uh, Gabriel, Shador Sanders, and the Cleveland Browns.
That's primetime TV right now. That's going to be
Eh,
prime time. That's ironic when I say that, but that's going to be primetime TV.
Yeah, that's my point. So when I hear Gerald McCoy say that stuff, I'm like, bro, you supposed to be buddies with Prime and you're a former NFL player, very good NFL player, former Sooner. Did you think that you know he was crying, pouting or something?
He
Because
wasn't.
I didn't see him cry or pout.
Nope. He was just saying, "Look, I got an opportunity. I'm grateful for being drafted, and I'm ready to go." That's
Yeah,
basically what he said. He said, he wasn't crying and pouting or saying anything negative. It was all positive. It
yeah,
was all positive, and
and
people look past that because he didn't
they
make
they
a lot.
want they want to say something negative about the Sanders,
Yeah.
mainly Dion,
Yes.
and I get it. And even Shiloh was making jokes about it, saying if you weren't that N word, you know, we wouldn't be going through this. But if he wasn't that N word, they wouldn't have none of that either, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was cracking jokes. Shiloh was cracking jokes. Shiloh is the one that's really hood. His mother had to be the hood one that Dion got with.
Mm-hmm.
Because Shiloh is off the chain. He
Mm-hmm.
ready to go at any moment, right?
Yep.
But last thing, I hope the young man shines.
Gets a fair shot.
Yeah, I hope he shines. And then watch Cleveland and your boy take credit when he's the starting quarterback next year or year after next. Because Flacco ain't gonna be there, but for maybe a year or two,
Yep, that's true. Flacco's
right?
40. He'd be pushing 41, 42 in the next 2 years. So,
And truth be told, I don't think he's gonna finish this season.
okay. That could very well be true because if Cleveland had a bad season, one of those rookies, is going to take its place. So,
I agree.
so
I agree. Kenny Pickett's, like I said, I think Kenny Pickett is safe no matter how bad he is because he has a freaking rookie contract that can be extended if they want to work with him more. Um, Dylan Gabriel, I loved him at OU. He led Oregon to the number one overall seed for the college football championship. But at 5'11", not knocking his height because Kyler's not that much taller. I think they're about the same height. In that weather, in the winter, in that division,
yeah.
I don't think he's able to do it. Shador played in Colorado,
Yep.
similar climate.
But and you I don't know if you probably know, but you're missing it. He's a lefty.
Oh yeah, I ain't worried about him being a lefty. Lefty's cool, but it's going to be an adjustment for all them receivers that don't catch lefty. They're going to get the jugs machine, have it do a reverse spin when they're trying to catch from him, practice catching from him. And again, when he was at Oklahoma, he was good. He decided to leave to go to Oregon for the nil money. Got it. Had a great season. Cool, right? Was a Heisman Trophy candidate, but his numbers were less than what Shador's numbers were, right? Shador, all time, all time now, all time college completion percentage. That equates to accuracy. All time. Think about all the quarterbacks,
But
great college quarterbacks.
wait a minute. He's a 5th-round pick.
Okay. He was the second leading touchdown thrower behind Cam Ward last year. The fourth in passing yards last year. I think Dylan uh, was ahead of him in that category.
Both of them were
That's
accurate. Both of them were accurate accurate throwers. Let me put it that way. Both of them
yeah,
were accurate throwers.
yes.
So
But only one of them has the all-time record percentage-wise in college.
So let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. Let's wrap this up real quick because I want to go get to the
Yeah,
mock
to the
draft.
draft without Christian McCaffrey, which is some bullshit. But I ain't gonna say that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Let
I'm sorry.
me put it this way. People.
Oh, hold up. I gotta check and see if I can open up the league because the draft is over. Normally they open up the leagues after the draft.
Okay. Well,
Go ahead.
that's you, the commissioner. That's on you. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Negro. I was about to say something else. I was about to say something else.
Well,
I was literally gonna say something else.
that's 100% up. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm the champ. I'm waiting for you to open.
You're a tramp? You said you're a tramp? I agree.
I'm the neighborhood champ right there. You see it. It's going to be there all season until somebody takes it from me, and I doubt it because I'm going to be 2-time
What?
champ. That 2-time champ.
Okay. You smoking some good ish.
Yes.
You smoking some good ish.
And I was doing it last year, and they gave me this neighborhood champ. Hello.
Hello.
Anyway, let's get to this freaking mock draft. And let me tell you, people, I'm a lover of running backs, but not in this mock draft. I'm talking 12 players in this mock draft. We got about 20 minutes. 12 players in this mock draft that we're going to go through. And I'm going to go from 12 to 1. Okay? And here we go. At number 12, we're talking about Devon Achane. And this is shaky. He was a fantasy running back in points per game with Tua healthy in 2024. And it was related to his receiving numbers rather than his rushing efficiency. He regressed a lot in the latter part compared to his rookie campaign. He had a mind-boggling 7.8 yards per carry, and that fell to 4.6 yards per carry. But Devon Achane receiving had room to grow in year 2, and ultimately more than made up the difference with declining yards per carry. The Dolphins running back has a top 5 fantasy football stealing based on his explosive and 3-down skill set. He finished second in routes run among running backs last year. Let's see if Miami can upgrade their offensive line in 2025 and watch Devon Achane go off the chain. Let me put it that way. All right. Your thoughts. Devon Achane at number 12.
I'm gonna just say right now, without Christian McCaffrey being in your top 12, I think it's bullshit.
Okay, no problem. No problem. You know what?
I don't know who BT is.
Let me
who's BT? Who's that?
BT, and I'll tell you, at number 11 happens to be Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh, hell no.
Thomas, rookie,
no.
historic, and the head coach pledged to build around him, locks him in as a 2025 breakout candidate. His size speed combo delivered wide receiver 1 production down the stretch. Think 10-plus targets in nearly 100-yard games as a baseline. Even with Lawrence back under center, Thomas should command a hefty share, especially if Kirk and quite naturally, Kirk Ingram left, no longer there, and Cohen's track record being the head coach with Tampa Bay's offense in 2023, when Chris Godwin and Mike Evans thrived, didn't name other key targets. All facing uncertain. All these guys, Kirk left, Ingram left, and Gabe Davis left, all faced certain roles or recovery as question marks around Trevor Lawrence. Thomas' late season surge suggests he's already a cut above the pack. They got Travis Hunter and they got Brian Thomas Jr., a second year, and I predicting this guy is going to break out big time, because Travis Hunter is still a rookie. Trevor Lawrence always likes to go to his guy, and right now his guy is BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr. Talk to me.
Okay. All right. No,
Okay.
because again, I'm looking at the value of Christian McCaffrey. He might not be number one overall. And I realize this is your first one of the season and it's subject to change. But CMC not in here, but Brian Thomas with an erratic quarterback and a new guy that's going to take some of those targets away from him. No, no. And then you're number 10 in the top 12. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No problem. At number 10, my former team, and this guy's a baller. But he's got to stay healthy. But when he's healthy, Nico Collins averaged 2.86 yards per route run in 2024, second among all wide receivers. He picked up right where he left off in 2023, finishing the season as the wide receiver 6 in points per game, which was 14.9, which is a very good stat, 14.9 points per game. He missed 4 games with an injury, but was very effective on the field as C.J. Stroud's clear number 1 target. Even when Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell were healthy, he was the alpha dog of the Texans' passing attack. With both guys potentially not playing for Houston in 2025, right now, Stephon Diggs is no longer. He's with the New England Patriots, and Tank Dell is still dealing with a horrific leg injury. Nico Collins is clear-cut number 1 wide receiver and will stay atop the 2025 wide receiver fantasy football ranks. Talk to me, Mr. FSP, about Mr. Nico Collins.
This dude right here. No.
Okay.
No.
No problem.
No.
Okay.
Look. I know it's your first one, and I'm trying to give you some grace. But 2 of those 3 can't even compare to what CMC is going to provide. But I digress.
I'm going to say this like this, and you may not like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it like this.
Of course you know I'm going to like what you're going to say. Of course.
I'm going to raise some eyebrows when I say this.
Of course.
CMC is like a broke dog.
A broke dog.
Broke dog. I'm not going to say the other word that I wanted to say on, but you should be able to understand what I'm saying. Okay? He's like a broke dog.
Mofo.
That's what I'm saying. I said it last year, and I got the same response from you last year when I told you about CMC. And I'm telling you this year. I'm telling you this year. People some people are so hard-headed they won't realize the forest for the trees. Come on, man.
This
CMC
Negro
has come and gone, and his time has come and passed. Plain and simple. His time has gone completely. Okay? He's not a first-round pick. He's barely a second-round pick. Trust me when I say that. CMC, I'm telling you people right now.
This mother.
I'm looking right in the camera. I'm pleading with you people. First round No CMC. Second round, maybe.
Maybe this Negro said
Third round,
maybe.
third round is where you want to take CMC. He's not the one. He's not the one anymore. Trust me when I'm telling you. I said this last year. I'm not wrong. I said this when I said this guy was going to get hurt. And what happened? I tried to tell a good friend of mine.
I'm just telling a good friend of
I
mine.
tried to tell a good friend of mine, don't draft Christian McCaffrey. He didn't
Who is this? Who is this?
Louisiana Coon-ass. Come on, man.
He's a good friend of yours now?
He's always been a friend. Come on, man. He's a friend of mine.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know y'all were good friends.
Yeah. Well, not good friends. He's a friend of mine. But I try to tell him, as a person that knows running backs, people discount what I talk about. But that's okay. But when I'm right, and he told me, you're right, I shouldn't have drafted him. I'm telling you, don't draft Christian McCaffrey in the first or second round. That's a bad deal. A bad deal. I'm telling you, I'm imploring you, as person that I've seen running backs, Jamal Charles, Arian Foster, Alvin Kamara. Those guys, when I told you draft them, they broke out. I'm telling you, people, over the years, Mr. FSP knows I know running backs. I'm not a 100%er. I never professed that. I missed on some running backs, but most of the running backs I've talked about say, are they going to be the man? We're the man. I'm telling you, Chris McCaffrey is not the man. I'm telling you. I'm doing a Mel Kiper now. Christian McCaffrey is not the man. Don't draft him in the first 2 rounds. Please, I'm imploring you. Please, Mr. FSP will probably do that, but that's okay. If he wants to do that, then he's going to regret it. Anybody that is going to draft Chris McCaffrey in the first 2 rounds will regret it. He may have a couple of good games, but he's going to get hurt again. That tendonitis in those Achilles heels doesn't go away. Does not go away. Okay? I'm telling you right now. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Let me explain something to you, Mr. FSB. I think I've never told you this before, and I'm going to tell you this. When I went to basic training, and that's a long time ago.
1913? Damn.
When I went to basic training, I developed tendonitis in one of my heels, one of my legs.
Oh yeah, bone spurs.
No. It was tendonitis. It was tendonitis. I got through basic training. 50 years later, I still deal with it. 50 years later, I still deal with it. Over 50 years. And
I can believe it.
And that was just in one foot. 50 years later, I still deal with it. So it doesn't go away. It may not be as prevalent as it was in the early years when I got it, but now, 50 years later. So when I'm telling you, Chris McCaffrey, a year later after double Achilles tendonitis in both feet. Come on, man. That's an accident waiting to happen. Don't draft Chris McCaffrey in the first 2 rounds. Regardless of what you may feel, Father Time catches up to everyone. Chris McCaffrey will be a 28-year-old running back with a lot of mileage.
I never said he was.
And health issues. Okay? At number 8, people, this is my first running back. Jameer Gibbs was a running back 2 overall through 18 weeks, averaging just shy of 20 points per game in half PPR. He led all running backs in week 1 and running back 2 finisher rate. The Lions running back outscored all non-quarterback week 13 winning fantasy leagues. He was balling out. Over the last month, he exploded, averaging nearly 30 points per game. And a lot will be made about how he can project in 2025 with David Montgomery still involved. That's what I'm talking about. The Cleveland Browns running back. I think that's thunder and lightning. I think they're going to mimic the Detroit Lions. The NFL is a copycat league. That's all I got to say. They're a copycat league. If it can work for one, it can work for another. We also saw Gibbs' receiving usage really increase down the stretch, and that could very well increase in year 3. The floor-ceiling combination for the 23-year-old makes him a consensus top 3 running back. 22, 23, 24-year-old running backs, that's their prime years. I even throw in 25. That's their prime years. So if you have a running back that is in the 23, 24, 25 age bracket, and he's been explosive or he's been a strong running back at that point, that's their prime years. You can guarantee that's going to be consistent without injury. That's going to be consistent. Okay. Jahmyr Gibbs, number 8. Talk to me, Mr. FSP.
All right, Mr. Taylor. I'm not gonna knock Jahmyr Gibbs. I think you got him too low though.
Okay.
I literally have Jahmyr Gibbs and another player in the top 3.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. But
Okay.
that's just me.
No
That's just
problem.
me.
No problem. At number
That's just me.
7, as you see it, Puka Nacua just rounded out his second season in the NFL, and while he fell short of the 1,000-yard mark, he was just as impressive on a per-play basis as he was in his standout rookie year, doing 9.3 yards per target in both seasons. While Nacua has quickly risen up the ranks of the best wide receiver in the NFL, he said he wants to go out on top like Aaron Donald, his teammate during his rookie season. The former 5th-round pick turns 24 at the end of May and has 2,476 yards receiving and 9 career receiving touchdowns, finishing inside the top 7 wide receivers in fantasy points per game each season. Mr. FSP, I got Puka Nacua at number 7. Talk to me.
I can't be mad at Puka being at number 7. Probably have him and Neighbors are I agree in the top 12. I think they're at the back end of the top 12 though, because I'm valuing running backs more this year than I am the receiver.
Listen to the old sage. Come on, man.
Oh no. I'm just an old sage. I'm just saying, based upon my own analysis,
Okay.
I believe the running back will be more valuable, especially looking at what was just drafted. Jerry, I told you this. Put the headphones back on so you can hear what I'm saying. Put them back on so you can hear what I'm saying. Look, I told you this last year or year before last when the hip drop tackle got taken out the game. I said the big back and running backs in general are going to be more valuable because if you have a Derrick Henry size player, right, or a big muscle back, Josh Jacobs, for example, they're going to run you over. And if you try to take them a hip drop tackle them, you're getting 15 yards added on to whatever run you got. So to me, the back has been protected more now, starting last year, going into this year. So the wide receiver might be getting paid a lot more, but the quality of wide receivers out there aren't as good as the quantity of wide receivers that are out there. And with Nacua, you got to realize Devontae Adams is out there. And I guarantee you, Matthew Stafford is going to feed him. Stafford is going to feed him. So Puka is still going to get his numbers, yes. But Devontae Adams is going to eat into that too. And didn't the Rams just pick up a wonderful running back as well to go with Kyron Williams? That's all I'm saying. Protect the old quarterback.
Let me just say this, and I'm not wrong because I've been saying this for.
I'm not wrong. Damn. I mean,
let me just say this.
no one even said you were wrong about
Wait
anything.
a minute, and let me just say
But
this,
you are.
and I'm not mistaken when I say this. I've been saying this for almost 20 years. For 16 to 17 years since we've been on the air, I've been saying running back, running back, running back. And for 16 to 17 years, I've been, for the most part.
Nope. Don't even say that. That's a lie.
Wait a minute. You just didn't listen to what I just said. For the most part, I've been poo-pooed by not just one, not but two, but for several people about talking about running backs and how running backs are going to break out and how running backs are the key to your fantasy season and how running backs are so valuable. I've been saying this for almost 2 decades. 2 decades. And that's a fact. So when somebody says that about running backs, it's nothing new to me because I've been saying it ever since I've been talking about fantasy football on this program or on any program. I've been talking about running backs. And right now, there's a plethora. Last year, the year before, and especially this year, a plethora of good running backs in here. Now, I don't have but a triple set of running backs within the top 12 in this mock draft. I can tell you that right now. But there's so many running backs that don't have to be in the top 12 that are quality running backs that will give you great points to go along with your other players on your fantasy team. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many running backs out there that now, especially with the rookie running backs coming in this year, there's crazy amount of running backs, good quality running backs that people are going to be overlooking. And I'm going to, in the coming months, I'm going to bring those out, those rookie running backs and running backs that I feel that either first or second year running backs may not have had a good season, but either through coaching change or positions being opened up because a running back in front of them may have moved on, I'm going to bring them out. Well, let's get back to this. Let's get back to number 6 in my mock draft. At number 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love this kid. And I still think he's going to flourish even when Ben Johnson has moved on. He finished a stellar season at the wide receiver 3 overall through 17 weeks, averaging 15.4 points, also wide receiver 3 through the postseason. The Sun God was the number 1 overall in red zone receptions, but he outperformed his 14.6 expected points per game, which ranked 18th. Over the final 7 games of the regular season, St. Brown's target share was 27 to 23%, and fell with both Sam Laporta and Jameson Williams heavily involved. Still, 27-23% target share is nothing to sneeze about. Let me put it that way for him.
Best advice anyone ever gave was 2 words.
That should be more of a concern next season, given Jameson Williams' massive breakout. So can St. Brown continue to thrive as a top 5 wide receiver? Don't see a reason why not. Amid target competition, especially after losing offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. He's the favorite target of Jared Goff. I don't see that changing. Jared Goff's still there. Amon-Ra St. Brown is still there. And Jameson Williams is quite naturally still there. but the number one target, in my opinion, for Jared Goff will be the Sun God. I got Amon-Ra St. Brown at number 6. Talk to me.
I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. I actually like your list, except for number 1 and number 2. I think
No problem.
not.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Let's get.
But I was going to talk about St. Brown.
Go
I
ahead.
love the fact that you got St. Brown there, but I got to see what that offense is going to look like now that Ben Johnson is gone.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I question about having him right there. What does the offense look like?
Okay. Let's talk about the other players when we get to the other players. All right. All right. I got Mr. CeeDee Lamb. I know you don't like the. I know you don't like CeeDee Lamb, but I mean because he's a Cowboy, but that's okay. Despite playing hurt and losing Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb gutted out 15 games en route to a wide receiver 8 finish and wide receiver 9 in points per game, which was 14.2. He caught at least 4 passes in all but one game, marking his third straight season with 100-plus receptions. Lamb played 7 games with Prescott to start the season, in which he was generally effective, averaging 15.6 fantasy points per game. Without Prescott, Lamb crawled to a wide receiver 12 finish from week 9 to 16. He even saw Lamb is still the number 1 guy in Dallas and flash elite ceiling before injuries derailed the Dallas offense. Talk to me. CeeDee Lamb, I got him number 5.
CeeDee Lamb. That's an enigma right now for me. I like what Dallas did with the offensive line through the draft, though. Right? I even like the little running back they got. It all depends on Dak, though, man. How does he come back? Is he going to be gun shy? We know he's going to feed him. We know he's going to feed him. So having him number 5, I think, is a safe bet. I think. Well, go ahead because we haven't gotten to the other players.
Okay. At number 4 is one of my favorite backs. I think he's going to thrive with the quarterback that's now in place with Michael Penix Jr.
Yep.
Mr. FSP.
Oh, the deal ain't done. Keep messing around. The deal ain't done. Don't push me. I ain't no killer, but don't push me.
I have you on air, on video.
I don't care.
The deal's done.
We've had the president of the United States on tape saying certain things, and people still don't believe he said it.
Anyway, Michael Penix Jr. is going to be the starter moving forward in 2025, and his brief 3-game stint as paints an optimistic picture for his offense.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson ended the season on an absolute tear for at least 90 rushing yards in 6 straight games with 8 rushing touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs was the only non-quarterback to outscore Robinson from week 13
Yep.
onward. From week 13 on. I'm finding it hard to not rank Robinson as my number 1 running back in 2025. Second in the NFL touches last season. He's going to be just, and I said this before, people, what's the window for running backs? 23, 24, 25. He's just going to be 23 running back overall last season. Hello, Bijan Robinson. I mean, his arrow is just pointing up. Talk to me, Mr. FSP.
That's why I can't figure out why you got him at number 4. I have him at number 2. I got him at the number 2 fantasy player this year.
Okay. And number 4.
I'm just saying.
Number 4, number 2 is relative. I mean, you can swap them. It's all a matter of
Not
exactly.
Not exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's
okay. I tell you what. Let's sweeten our trade.
Okay.
You get the player you get. I get the player I want. Right. I want your first round pick if it's in the top 4. 4. My 2 and no, I got to keep my 3 because the player I'm keeping is a 3rd rounder. So my two and my 2, 4, and 6 for your first, and like a 12 or something to go along with the other part, since it's relative.
It's relative.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it. I want your first round. You get my second and my fourth, right?
Regardless of where my first round is, my first round could be bottom half of the first round.
I said if it's in the top 4, but I'll even do that for you. I'll do that no matter where your first round pick is. But if it's in the top 4, I'm cool with that because you're telling me it doesn't matter
It doesn't.
between 4 and 2. So
Doesn't
do we
matter.
have a deal? Do we have a deal?
I want to go your route. I have to think about it.
Ah,
I have to
but you
think.
know what? I said yes.
And you just backtracked and said,
No, no,
uh,
no, no, no.
no,
I know what I know, but dude, I wasn't gonna do that. I'm not like some people. My word is my bond. If I say I'm gonna do something or be somewhere, I'm gonna do it. I'm just not gonna disappear on them.
I you're not like one of your bet buddies.
What are you talking about? He ain't disappear on nobody.
I'm not saying disappear. I'm saying renege on a trade. Say one thing.
I didn't renege on any trade. I just told you I'm doing the deal.
Okay. What
And
I
I
what I'm saying is,
geez.
I you I'm glad you're not like one of your bet buddies. That's all I'm saying.
You better leave my homie alone, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Leave my homie alone.
I don't know if he's ever done it to you, but he's done it to me more than once. So
Yeah, he's done it to me, but I don't look. All's fair in trading in fantasy, right?
no. Let me put it this way.
I don't know what y'all had on the table. I don't know,
I
so I can't speak on that.
had a bunch of I would say close to at least 3, if not more, deals that he backed out of. Which, come on, man. If you make a deal, if I make a deal, I stick to it. I don't back out of it. Anyway, at number 3, this guy was set to have 2 years left on his contract heading into 2025. But this new deal, he's got a Saquon Barkley had over 2,000 yards. Okay. Every player that's done 2,000 yards or
Here
more.
we go. Here we
At
go.
look, this is a fact. People, you want to look it up. You think
Here we go.
I'm not telling the truth?
No one said you're not telling the truth, bro.
But you can say, here we go. Like I'm about to espouse something that's not truthful. Every back that it has 2,000 yards or more has regressed to at least 600 yards less the next season, or gotten hurt the next season. There's been 9 backs, if I'm not mistaken, 9 backs in the history of the NFL. Just check it out. In the history of NFL, check out the year they did 2,000 yards or more, and the following year, whether they hit that mark, came close to that mark, or gotten hurt. None of them gotten close to that mark, and none of them, or some of them, have even gotten hurt the next year and didn't complete the season. Okay? So if you think Saquon Barkley is a bona fide, some people do, bona fide number 1 pick, don't go that route. Do not go that route. Undoubtedly, consensus running back ones in most people's eyes in 2025 will be Saquon Barkley, if arguably the greatest season we have ever seen from the position. Over 2,000 rushing yards as the only skilled player to average more than 20 points per game in half PPR. He led the NFL in touches with nearly 500, almost 500 touches Who can sustain that? Who can sustain that?
Here
He
we
let
go.
he behind the league's best offensive line, but as was the case with Christian McCaffrey last season, leading the NFL in touches by such a vast margin is essentially the kiss of death for running backs the following year. Only 2 running backs finished as RB1s the following year after leading the NFL in touches since 2013. 2 in over a decade. Ezekiel Elliott is the only one over that period to finish inside the top 5. People, I'm telling you, don't chase the numbers. I have him at number 3, and that may be too high. I have him at number 3, and that may be too high. I'm cautioning people about Saquon Barkley, but I have him at number 3. Mr. FSP, talk to me.
Acknowledge me. For those that are wrestling fans, you understand what this means. For those that aren't, it's still a number 1. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, no problem. I told people last year, don't draft Chris McCaffrey as your number 1.
Here we go.
I'm telling you right now, don't draft Saquon Barkley as number 1. I'm telling you now, it's on video right now. It's on video. The 27th of April.
Okay, I tell you what. If you agree to that deal, I propose to you, I will work. It'll hurt me, and it'll really upset me. But I won't say one word negatively about Christian McCaffrey not being in your top whatever. And I would even agree that he doesn't belong in the first round.
Let me say this. It's been almost 2 decades since I've
Oh gosh, here we go.
It's almost 2 decades where I've stated something and I've been challenged on it. Okay. That hasn't deterred me from my opinion, and my opinion being majority of the time being correct in what I'm telling you people. So when you say that, I don't care. My opinion is educated enough and thought out enough to know. I know running backs. I'm trying to implore people to believe what I'm saying. I'm not touting my own horn, but I'm touting my own horn. I know running backs. And majority of what I'm saying about running backs, whether it's good, whether it's bad, I've been correct majority of the time. I'm not 100. No one's 100. But I have a high percentage of being correct when I'm talking about running backs. I can't emphasize that enough.
I will co-sign that he used to be like an 86, 87. Past couple years, he done fell off. I know age got on him, but he's still a little above 80%. I did the numbers, so he is a little bit.
80%.
He's less than what he was for sure. Past couple years, it been rough because the Christian McCaffrey was the last one he got right. 3 years ago, he got Derrick Henry right when Derrick Henry got injured or whatever. But
and look, Alvin Kamara. When I told you Alvin Kamara is going to be the number 1, was he not the number 1 that year? Absolutely. When I told you
that's so long ago.
Wait a minute. I'm chronicling this. When I told you about Derrick Henry after his big season of 2,000 yards, this is ironic because when I said Derrick Henry was going to get hurt in a specific week, he got hurt that specific week. Come on, man. Come on. 80, 86, 82%, 80%. That's all relative. It's over. That's an astronomical percentage. 80%.
It is.
80%.
It's an astronomical percentage.
That's an astronomical percentage.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I'm imploring people, don't change the numbers. I know Saquon Barkley is a very good back, but is Saquon Barkley past 25? If Saquon Barkley past 26, is he going to be 27? If I'm not mistaken, 27, 28. People, that's a red flag. The other red flag is over 2,000 yards. That's a red flag. The other red flag is over 500 touches. That's a big red flag. 3 red flags for a 27, 28-year-old running back? Hello? Hello? I'm just saying. Let's move on to the number 2 pick. Now, people, I profess vehemently about running backs. And notice in this mock draft, there's only 3 running backs in this mock draft in the top 12. Only 3. What's that telling you? That's telling you that wide receivers are more prevalent in this top 12 than running backs. But there's quality running backs below the 12th pick. There's quality running backs. But you want to jump on wide receivers, okay? Because in my opinion, the drop-off in wide receivers dips a lot more than running backs in this year's draft. Okay? The all-pro wide receiver shut down any doubt that he could produce without Kirk Cousins, finishing as a wide receiver 2 overall and in points per game. He caught over 100 passes and surpassed 1,500 receiving yards, tying a career high with 10 touchdowns, finishing first in end zone targets. He tied Jamar Chase for the most wide receiver 1 weekly finishes, which was 12. It was his 4th time finishing inside the top 5 wide receivers. It should be noted that Justin Jefferson production dipped slightly over T.J. Hockenson return to the lineup. It is very possible that with the quarterback question marks in 2025, Jefferson's production, especially touchdowns, could decline. But it would need to be an absolute implosion for the wide receiver to fall outside the top 5 just based on his talent and deployment in the Minnesota offense, which I've been touting for the last 3 to 4 years in his Minnesota offense. I love this offense, especially highlighting wide receivers, especially Justin Jefferson. Okay? Mr. FSP, JJ at number 2.
I don't have the number 2. I have him at number 4 or number 5.
Okay.
Only because the quarterback situation. Minnesota has JJ McCarthy and Rippon. And I think they drafted a quarterback. Or no, they didn't draft one. They just signed a free agent. I forget who it is. But that worries me. Matter of fact, you know what? My buddy was just telling me about it. But anyway, he's going to get his, right? But that's the only concern. Who's giving him the ball? Like last year, I was wrong. I thought Sam Darnold was going to suck. I was wrong. But JJ suffered for, I think, 8 weeks, 6 weeks. Yeah, I think it was 6 weeks without a touchdown. And of those 6 weeks, 3 or 4 of them were below 100 yards. So,
Okay.
food for thought. Food for thought.
And like I said a week or so ago, my number 1 is Jamar Chase.
But you know, it's your show. I'm gonna let you do it. I'm gonna let you do it.
Let me put it this way. Same quarterback, same offense, nothing's changed. And
Except he got paid.
Wait a minute. Just can I finish?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
And
that's why I got my head down.
And Chase was paid along with his running mate T. Higgins. And one complements the other. There would have been a problem if T. Higgins had left and Jamar Chase was the only one there. But the Cincinnati Bengals have a luxury of having two number ones. Two number ones. And even though T. Higgins went off, thank you. I'm looking at my championship trophy saying thank you.
This
T. Higgins went off in the
nigga.
championship series in my championship round. He went completely off and surpassed Jamar Chase. They feed off each other because, like I said, they are two number ones. They are two number ones. Chase was my number one heading into the 2024 draft season, and he exceeded all expectations, finishing as the wide receiver 1 overall while taking home the triple crown. 127 catches for over 1,700 yards and 17 touchdowns. 20 points per game in half PPR, which was 4 points more per game than the next closest wide receiver. He also led the NFL in red zone targets, which has been the clear signal for wide receiver overall seasons. For wide receiver 1 for overall seasons. The past 6 number 1 overall wide receivers finished first in the NFL in red zone targets, with Chase becoming the 6th to do so. The only major change for 2025 is that T. Higgins will likely be, he's not gone, so he's still there. But the sample size of Chase without Higgins over the last 3 seasons is more elite wide receiver production. He's still with Higgins being there. All that matters is that he and Burrow stay healthy as Chase attempts to be the first back-to-back wide receiver 1 finisher since Antonio Brown. Mr. FSP, I know you disagree. Jamar Chase, number 1.
No. Jamar Chase, again, I put him just below JJ. I got JJ above him. JJ is dealing with Addison on the other side and Hawkinson, but Chase is dealing with Higgins. And then Chris Brown, I believe the running back's name is
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown, yes. And I know Burrow, that's Burrow's boy, and he's going to feed him. I know that. But until the Bengals fix that offensive line, Burrow's going to be on his back more than he's going to be on his feet. So
Okay.
I have him in the top 10, yes, but not at number 1 at all. My number 1 is Saquon, followed by Bijan, then Gibbs. And I'm torn between having CMC there versus JJ or Lamb, because I think that's where the receiver starts to take form and shape, right there in the middle.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
But I like Ashton Genchi in a Pete Carroll offense.
People,
I'm just saying.
Mr. FSP has his opinion. I have mine. All I can say
one is great, one is not.
All I can say is 80% or plus in correctness in running backs. Who are you gonna listen to?
Oh my! Are you seriously going to go there? Okay, all right.
Who are you gonna listen? I'm just saying.
Okay.
If you were a betting man, and Mr. FSP is a betting man, I'm not. But if you were a betting man, and you got someone that was 80% or more right, who would you go with? 80% more or right? Who would you go? I'm just saying.
Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you've given your spiel to the people. Let me give them mine.
No. I'm not done. Okay. Who are you going to?
You see what he's doing, y'all? Y'all see what he's doing?
Who are you going to go with? Okay. I always emphasize the positive. I don't emphasize the negative. Okay. 80%. Okay. I'm gonna go to 80%. I don't emphasize the 20% I was wrong. Like
of
some
course
people,
he doesn't.
like some people would do.
He doesn't talk about the full picture. That's the point.
But if you're 80% or more right, why would you even go to 20% or less? It doesn't make any sense. Because the fact is, if you're 80% right, somebody's going to listen to that versus you emphasizing the negative. Okay, the negative. It's a negative. No one's 100%. There's only 100% perfect person in the world, or that was in the world. Okay? I never percent. I never
Another
gave,
percent.
I never gave you the idea that I was 100%. I
Yeah, he ain't legit. He ain't
I
legit.
never gave anyone the statement that I was 100%. I said I'm not perfect, but the majority of the time I'm right. And if Mr. FSP, who himself said I was 80% or more right, that's 80%. That's the majority. So I'm
He
not
won't let me
wrong when
talk,
I say the
y'all.
majority of the time I'm right.
He won't let me talk,
And I'm
y'all.
and if somebody wants to dispute it, fine. But when you can dispute, how can you dispute 80 or plus percent? How can you dispute it? You're gonna knock because I was wrong 20% or 15% over 85 or 80%? Really? That makes no sense. I'm not perfect, but I damn near I'll give you a very high percentage of players, especially running backs, that you should look at, that you should form a positive opinion about. I can't make you, I can give you is my suggestion. I can't make you pick them. If you don't pick them, it's on you. It's on you. That's all I can say. And my numbers, the numbers I give you back up what I'm talking about. It's not like I'm just throwing these guys out there. I'm throwing these guys out there to let you know that these are the facts. Either you, it's not fake news. If you want to believe it, believe it. If you don't, it's on you, Mr. FSP.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defendant would like you to think that his 80% is so great that it can outshine the 20%.
It
I
does.
submit to you today. He wants to say because it doesn't fit, you must acquit. But we found blood all over the place. Now, OJ was innocent, but not Jerry. My point is, I am not knocking Mr. Taylor's in-depth knowledge of running backs. I did initially, like I said, almost 2 decades, right? Almost. Probably around year 3, I became a believer. I just didn't tell him until probably about year 5. I was like, yeah, you're right. You know what you're talking about. But then I saw some anomalies, and I was like, okay, well, he was off a little bit. My point being is, if you're going to toot your horn about how right you are, also expound on the ones you really missed, calling both uh, CMC, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins at the time, and a few others washed about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, saying they're done. And all this other stuff, right? Expounded of how bad they were going to be and stuff like that, right? When it came out and we're good, it was like, well, okay, I was wrong. But not highlighting all the things he was wrong about. That's all I'm saying. Deprecation. He is not a, a someone that is willing to admit and expound on his wrongness. He's reaching for stuff. He's trying to say I'm reaching. But all I'm saying is, all I'm saying is ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as you see the antics of the Joker over there.
I'll be on the Joker. I'll be
It's
80% Joker.
see,
How's that?
see, look,
How's
see,
that?
see what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. He's he's got running back knowledge. I will greatly admit that. I think he's wrong about certain players, and I foresee these things years down the line. I'm not looking at just the right now like he does. I take that in consideration. I do. The right now, I take that in consideration. Um, but I give CMC maybe 2 years, 2, 3 years, 2 or 3 years before he's totally a guy that's either too injured to continue or viewed as a backup and need to move on. Like Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones went to Minnesota, lead back, doing great things. But what did Minnesota do this year? They added CMC's backup, Mason, to help share the load. Right now, CMC is not that person that needs that shared load, but in a couple years, I see that happening.
Oh my God.
Don't let the smooth taste
Let,
fool
let-
you.
let me just say
The
this.
defense, the prosecution,
Let me
the
say this.
prosecution rests. There's no redirecting closing arguments.
Let me let me let
There's
me let me
okay.
let me just say this. CMC and the 49ers just drafted another running back. They just drafted another running back this season.
I didn't
Okay.
say they didn't.
Isaac Guerrero is going to see a lot of touches. There's going to be a running back by committee in San Francisco. CMC is not going to get the same amount of touches he got in past years in San Francisco. His his overall production is going to be um,
Oh boy.
diminished
Oh
because
boy.
because of the running back by committee. You think Kyle Shanahan doesn't realize I got an older back? I know he wants touches, but we got to um, monitor his workload, which translate running back by committee. CMC is not a first or second round pick. I'm telling you, people, he's
You gotta
not.
keep listening to this
He's
dude.
not. He's a
And
running.
now there's Garendo. Garendo proved that he couldn't stay
Look, I
healthy.
let you talk.
Oh
Stop.
no, you interrupted me.
Come on now. Come on now. I let you
This
talk. I let you talk. I let you talk.
don't do it.
I
Don't do it.
said it more
Don't
than
do
once.
it.
I want more than once to let you talk. And
And you also cut me off more than once too. But go ahead.
let
Go
me
ahead.
just say this, people.
He gonna use that mute button.
This
Okay.
is going to be running back by committee, which tells me Christian McCaffrey is not a first or second round pick. He may have certain games that he'll exceed, and some people will jump on the bandwagon and say, "See, I told you," but he will not consistently be a first or second round pick in fantasy. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He will not be a consistent first or round or second round pick in fantasy. All right, people, we've come to the end of the show. I got to say, Mr. FSP, I enjoyed what you had to say, and thank you for your opinion. Um, you have anything else you want to put out there before we um, exit?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being attentive. Uh, unfortunately, you got to face some BS from one person, not me. But uh, I'll say that Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you have fantasy sports and politics. I have no clue what I'm going to talk about just yet on Saturday. However, I suspect there's going to be a lot of NFL news that comes out throughout the week. Stick and stay with me. It's your boy, Mr. FSP. JT might come along if he's feeling froggy. I don't know. But come check us out. Great conversation. People coming on saying things that are crazy, and we talk back to each other, to the listeners there, or the viewers there. So come enjoy us. Last but not least, uh, it's football. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Peace.
Legendary.
Peace, Bill.